Greetings, world. Welcome to another Mental Rolodeck Live. Today's episode is man, are you purpose driven or pleasure driven?
Yeah.
Greetings, Baba. How are you doing today, King?
Greetings, King. Greetings. Yeah.
What's new?
Well, what really what's new? I want to say Mo Dupe to you, which means thank you for bringing me on today, and you and I have a conversation about the topic. And this was brought to me by a good friend, one of the Bobbers out of Dallas. We were talking about it, and we was discussing a few weeks ago. And the question was, are you pleasure driven or purpose driven? And I wanted to bring it all back to us as indigenous people because of the time that we're living in. Is all worried about being happy and joyous and glad and all that. But is that really real or is that an illusion? Because are we really missing why we came to this world in the first place? You know. And I was talking with some people the other day, especially in Ifa. Ifa teaches us that we came to the world with a purpose, not with pleasure, with a purpose. And we got to fulfill our purpose and destiny. But I'm finding now that more and more people that's been caught up in all these many so-called earth of these religious orders, they're looking for pleasure, they're looking for happiness and all that, but they're looking for their purpose, or they're not there looking for the reason why they came to the world in the first place. And we need to talk about it because in doing so, we find ourselves facing a great imbalance in us as celestial beings in a terrestrial world. Uh, Not a lot of folks seem to think that the earth, i.e., is our home when it's the marketplace. Our home is your room where we first started out at in the Dianosphere in another dimension, right? So we come here and we get sidetracked and we get to chasing the glamour, the popularity, anything that make me feel good. And when things don't go quite our way, we seem to snap and go in a case of mental distortion or mental illness because everybody want to be happy. But that's not balance. And when you don't understand your purpose, then you out there you had it mixed up. So what I like for you to do, King, let's give them the definition of what is meant by pleasure and what is meant by purpose. So we'll sort of stay on track. So what does pleasure mean? What area of our senses does it operate out of? What about purpose? Then we'll go to purpose. So what do you have?
Um, Pleasure. Um, Basically, before they have a different spelling as a noun. In the etymology, it's 14th century. It's spelled Plesire.
Hmm.
Source of enjoyment, pleasing quality or thing that which pleases or gratify the sense of or the mind.
Okay.
Something delightful, something that you enjoy, so on and so forth.
Right. Okay. Purpose.
Purpose is intention, aim, goal, objective. The object to be kept in view, proper function for which something exists.
Right. And just on those two definitions alone, do that. What would that tell us about our people? You know.
I mean, if I'm ingesting your words clearly, basically that was that stating we're more so pleasure driven because if you analyze the things that we go for,
Uh
right?
huh.
It's more something that gives off a dopamine sense within you.
Right.
You know, like like most men, you know, like we cherish our cars over the feminine and treat the feminine like shit, and call the car baby and so on,
Yeah,
my
right.
girl and so on and so forth. So we're just adults with more expensive toys that we gravitate to versus the connection of nature and, you know what I mean, elevating our soul
Right. And
per
see, and
se.
that's the danger of it. And when I want to talk, because what I love about Ifa tells us that when we was in the Dianosphere on the other realm, before coming to the world, we came with a purpose and a destiny, not a pleasure, but a purpose and a destiny. And our purpose was to come to make the world a better place. But instead of doing that, we allow our pleasure, our own sense of self gratification and enjoyment and etc. We've lost focus on the real reason why we're here. And because of this, we have a great imbalance in our celestial being and our terrestrial being. In other words, the head and the heart is out of balance because it's not unified or balanced. That's the male and female. So we tend to uh, uh, want to protect our pleasure by and still not fulfill our purpose. And believe it or not, King, 90% of the people you talk to cannot tell you what their purpose in life is.
I get it because we're not in tuned. There's so much things that we have to be in tune with. So we don't remember the contract we signed
There you go.
coming through our mom's portal. And
Right.
then the way we came through our mom's portal is not the natural way for us to be within the same sense. So the systematic programming that was actually conjured by the individuals that are casting these rituals
Spells,
to
yeah.
remove our equilibrium from what we're supposed to actually do, and then
Right.
the food we consume plays an effect. So we're a we're a lost bunch of individuals. We don't even sit still long enough to quiet the noise to actually hear our higher self speak. Some people hear their higher self speak and they be like, oh, that's God talking to me.
Yeah, but can they really recognize the higher, so to speak? Because if you're caught up in pleasure and not purpose, how do you know what's talking to them? Because and there again, being able to differentiate between the two. And that's the problem that we're having. You know, people now they run around, well, I want to be happy. But being happy all the time, is that healthy?
But what is actual happiness? Because I have a weird and peculiar mind, and to me, there is no such thing as happiness.
Right.
You get
It's
what
an
I'm saying?
illusion.
It's kind of like love. It,
It's an
it
illusion.
has everything to do with lust, right? And
Mm-hmm.
if you're looking for happiness, you will really never find it. That's why I
Mm-mm.
move so more with the moments and take what I get that's natural from not only my sons but from everybody else. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? Because there's so much conditions,
Right.
right, being passed forward from other people. Like we don't even how you gonna know your purpose versus pleasure if you don't even know the thoughts or your favorite food is really your favorite food, or was it given to you by somebody else?
You said earlier we were programmed. We have been what you call we've been programmed to say that certain things is this, and we base it on that. But we have not really looked into our real purpose. When we came up, we're looking at the pleasure. We're looking at happiness and joy and all these things. And like you said, the dopamine, you're out there. But what about when things don't go quite all right? Then you get all bent out of shape. Now you want to snap. You want to kill up the world. You want to hurt somebody. You want to do when your purpose in coming, you have not even began to know what your purpose is. That's why I love about Ifa. Ifa tells us that when a child comes into the world, that child should have had what they call a, a it's called Essentile, Kosi which means life chart, a path of life and they do what they call is a reading. They do what they call they do a divination, and they ask the child, and they find out when the month the child came to the world in, the date it was born on, and the year, and they figure up from that what Odu that he came in, or what oracles he came in on, and what energies is governing that particular oracle that governs his Ori, which is his head, his inner head. And we've discovered, because people do not know that, they say, well, there's three phases of the mind. But do you not know it's more than three phases to the mind? And because we don't understand how the mind works, the consciousness move, we tend to miss what miss what don't want to understand, but understand what it's all about. Therefore, we get our purpose and pleasure mixed up.
But see, the thing is, if you're racing to the finish line, right, and you lack you lack details
Mm-hmm.
of what comes in between getting to the finish line and when you get to the finish line,
Yeah.
you don't have a full picture,
Right.
right? So what I've tend to realize within society is that there's a whole bunch of noise,
It
and
is.
even when we're sitting still, we're afraid
Mm-hmm.
of sitting still because we chose the noises over sitting with ourselves. Like, I hear a king said today that they even program us from talking to ourselves because they told us that we look crazy.
Yeah,
But
that's
there's a,
ludicrous.
but
Yeah.
there's a higher essence within you that you must speak to.
Right.
You know
And,
what I'm
and,
saying?
and that was a time, like I said, I'm 70 plus, 76 plus, and back in the day, if you walked around talking yourself, they said you was crazy. But now, with all these earphones and people got headsets, you don't know, and they're talking. He wasn't that easy talking to himself or talking to somebody on, and they put that, and now we walk around here and we in that state. But at the same time, look at the madness that is going on in the world now, because we don't know our purpose and we're following after pleasure.
So let me ask you this though. Say I don't know my purpose, right?
Yeah,
Say I'm not a follower of Ifa and
right.
I'm unaware. What is it that I need to adjust and rebalance myself, not only with nature, but to retrieve my purpose or to understand steps?
Okay. You need to learn to reconnect with that still small voice that's in your higher self that speaks to us many times and we ignore it.
How do I know it's the
Because
higher voice?
because it because it constantly keep coming back as a repeat, reminding you, and then start putting things in your path. It'll start coming to you. You start having dreams and visions. Something will help to alert you, because all of us have these guiding spirits that's there to help us if we only learn to listen. First thing you got to learn not to hear, but to what? Listen. We do a lot of hearing, but not enough listening. So as I'm talking to people now, as we getting more and more in depth into understanding our Ori, looking at our purpose versus pleasure. You got to learn your dark side as well as your light side, because no such thing is negative and positive. These are charges of energy that be a frequency that have to be balanced. And because we don't think that, we take these things from a humanistic perspective rather than from a spiritual perspective. When I mean spiritual, I don't mean the air you breathe. I mean from the etheric level where we come from. That really is what generates the conscious mind.
What is that? I don't know what that is. Etheric. So
And that's
explain.
another level of the gases and chemicals that come before this thing we call air we breathe. They get your breath is oxygen, but then there's a level of spirit that we call spirit that deal with etheric with the astral world.
Is it really oxygen or is it carbon dioxide? I don't
Well,
know.
yeah, it's a combination of both, because you breathe in carbon and you breathing out carbon, you bring in
Yeah.
carbon monoxide, and all,
So
but they call it air or oxygen. But oxygen is the name that they give, the chemical name they give it to. But we operate on a whole different level. It ain't just a breath. There's something that goes beyond just the breath.
So, do you think this plays a major part in the fact that we don't pay attention or we're not in balance with ourselves? We're always racing against this.
Time, yeah, because guess what? And I am so happy you brought that up because we've been tricked into a artificial global matrix that has us chasing pleasure and not purpose. Other words, that's why it was important that we create this new 13-month, 28-day calendar to come back in line with natural law and purpose, or natural law and time. Now, time is a thing that only exists in this realm for the purpose of things moving forward. In the other realm, there's no thing called time. Everything is ain't gonna be already is. It already presently existed. You know? Only when you come in this realm, the third dimension, do you come to a point whereby time is relevant. And it's funny, no time is the same nowhere across the world at the same time in parts of the world. It may be an hour in Georgia, whereas it might be 3 hours in California. It may be 6 hours in Jamaica. So we're never together, same place at the same time. So we have to learn how to adjust to the time frequency that we're in globally. But there is a system that they call it 1260 frequency that have been placed on society from the so-called calendar and months and all these things that got us wrapped tight and in an artificial global matrix that is not in line with cosmology or nature. And because we're not, we find ourselves running against nature rather than moving with nature.
Do you ever notice every so year like the phone actually the frequency go up? So now every phone has what, like 5D?
5G and
5G, yeah, 5G. I'm
5G,
sorry, I said 5D.
5G, and a few months ago they disconnected 4G and 3G. So and I'm hearing now that there's a 7G coming out, not 6 but a 7 coming out.
But
So I'm going like, what with all of this? Because technology is going more to
but
AI.
but
And
do you know what it does though, right? It's not more so what the AI actually has to do with the dimensions.
mm-hmm,
So when the frequency on the planet raises, they change certain things to actually match that frequency because they
okay,
can't control the frequency,
right.
right?
Like
So
I said, I'm no computer technician, but I try to watch these things because we deal with time and vibration and frequency and rhythm. So to make sure that you're like a guitar you got back, and those strings are six strings, but they're tuned at different frequencies. They're tuned to get
yeah,
harmony.
E, G, and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and so do our bodies. We have a keynote in our body that we vibrate to. We vibrate to certain frequencies. We vibrate and we operate on certain level. But if we understand that what pleasure does to that frequency or what purpose does for the frequency, to and for.
I mean, but um, say a teenager or an adolescent from around 12 on up, right? They would rather have the pleasure
Yeah,
because they believe the the balance and the living the purpose is too much. You get what I'm saying? Some people rather work versus actually build their own.
and that's the trick of the enemy.
So earlier you spoke on realizing your purpose, right?
Right.
And your purpose is connected with nature, right? But
Hmm.
um, nature, by analyzing, never changes. We don't even pay attention to that,
Mm.
right?
Okay.
So, how do you silence the pleasure? How do you dismiss the crave? Not only for
Key word you just said, crave. That you got a craving, you got an appetite for it. Like any food you eat, you got to kick the habits. You got to set aside. And I've been working on that. Then that requires what? Discipline. You got to learn how to quieten. And we really don't control our bodies. Our body control us, our thoughts. I like what Rich says about that. The program is we're programmed to be robots and respond to them like puppets to a puppeteer.
So how does EFI balances that?
EFI teaches that when you recognize certain triggers or certain alarms or certain experiences in your life, it tells what level you are or what about you are in your ori or your inner head, and there's 6 levels to it, you know. And one of the ones that I'm seeing now among our people is called Ori Ibi and Ori Buruku. You know,
Meaning,
meaning, and let me go and get my definition because I had to write that stuff down because, boss, I'm getting old. So let me get my work and we'll talk about that. All right, I was just
um,
my note.
the beauty of life is that we we can't escape who we are as an individual. So no matter the pleasurable things that we gravitate to, we still got to come back to ourselves, right? And 90% of the times, most of us actually aim to run away from ourselves, not realizing that we can't escape. That's like you trying to detach from your shadow. Picture that. Um,
Yeah, I'm back now. I should have had it with me when I came in the room and said, "Now I know we can get that." Because I thought my friend was going to be with us. But anyway, we're talking about the sub is this the 6th level of a conscious state of mind. One is Ori Ire. I make and I do because I taught a class on this and bring it to a lot of people out in the class. Even a lot of people that studies Ifa, they talk about the Ori, and it got you thinking it's like just the head, the inner head. But that inner head, King, goes through changes every day. Like your car, when you get in your car and you pull out, that transmission go through changes as it go toward to get to drive. It don't just go straight to drive, it goes through a process. So does our thinking and the things that come in our life, whether it be pleasure or purpose, goes through these phases. And one of those is called Ori Ire. When growth occurs without resistance, creating good fortune and wisdom. In other words, you naturally pick up and do things. What we're challenged with here on in this realm is Ori Ibi, clinging to old religious dogma at every stage of growth, and we need to let go of old ideas. In other words, you cannot keep clinging or expecting the same thing every day. Life has to change and move along. So we have to learn how to balance these things.
can I
And
can
all
I can I interject before you go?
sure, 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 sure.
Okay, so there's a certain people that I actually speak to, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they would love for me to say I am a slave. They would love for me to celebrate
Oh
things
no.
of a slave. I
Mm-hmm.
never walk or move like a slave. So why would I celebrate it? And that's another thing. A
Right.
lot of us are sitting here like, yo, my ancestor this and my ancestor was that. And a lot of those are misnomers. It's not true.
It's that exactly.
Y'all do not do enough research to actually break down things to realize that none of the shit that you were thought was actually true.
I've been given to you. Right. Go ahead.
Even
Go ahead.
even the programming of education,
Oh no.
Rockefeller stated that when they created education, they were not aiming to create free thinkers. They were
No.
aiming to create workers and keep you within a box.
Right. That
So,
matrix.
so basically that you got to understand that you're within a system that replicates a jail. Look at the way they format in schools. They line your kids up. Look at the way they format them in jail. Look at the structure of the schooling. It's an institution to put blocks on your mind. And once you have these blocks on your mind, you are not free. Only you can free you,
Mm,
right? Even
right.
the building that we work in, they keep you in AC, knowing you're connected to the sun, knowing
Mm,
the sun gives you. energy, and while your energy is snapping, your function of your brain is changing, and your first eye is charging up,
Mm-hmm.
right? But within this society and this construct is calcified. We're becoming more dumb. We're within a flight and fight stage where it's like, if my brother step on my shoes, I want to hurt him. I
I'm
consume,
gonna shoot him.
I consume blood daily. You get
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? That is
Mm-hmm.
not me moving within my purpose. That is me following a construct that's pretty much putting spells. Like these people study your numerology. These people study how to utilize fear to steal your energy.
And that's the big promoter right now of taking us is fear. We're gripped by fear on every hand, you know. And I'm glad you said it because everything we're dealing with in this capitalistic society is designed to keep us in a state of looking for pleasure, looking for pleasure, and not purpose. And we're working to their purpose, trying to get our pleasure, and that's a problem.
But look at this. A lot of us are afraid to lose our jobs, but forgetting that we didn't come out of our mom portal working. We didn't come out of our mom portal with a Bible on our ass. A lot of these things that we ingest, because food is not the only thing you ingest within yourself.
No,
Your
no.
body moves off frequency. You see through frequency. You
Mm-hmm.
hear through frequency. You're a vibration.
I say.
And you don't pay attention enough to see the changes within your body. Like a lot of us don't even know why they call us the rainbow people. We don't sit long enough in the sun to see the different colors within our pigmentation
Mm.
change multitudes of colors to understand who the hell we are and how powerful we are. But guess what? Mother is about to give y'all a swift kick in y'all ass. I don't know if y'all pay attention to the, I don't know if y'all paying attention to the sun, how hot it is, and the radiation and the gamma rays
Oh
that's
man, it's
pouring
going.
down.
Oh yeah.
So
She about to do it.
a lot of y'all that's dead, that's sleeping. Guess what? You ain't gonna have a choice, and a lot of
All
y'all
right.
gonna go crazy because y'all cannot handle the changes that's coming. I yield, Baba. Go ahead. It's your turn.
Now you were right because, and you brought that out. People don't realize that the Earth has a conscience. The Earth is called Ori O'Neill, the spirit of the Earth. Not only does the Earth, the planet has Ori, it has a natural cycle, and it feels reaction and abuse. So how can you plant stuff in the ground and grow if the ground is dead and has no feelings? You know,
Everything is alive.
so that is something that the earth is alive, and everything that we do, we're connected to it and affected in one way or another. So you're not just connected to the universe, you're connected to this area completely, both above and below. But if you don't understand your purpose to make the world a better place, then you're out here chasing pleasure. I mean, if I'm chasing pleasure all the time, something's going undone.
You know, it's funny. My son came to me and like whenever we walk around, he's always like, "Yo, Dad, I need this. I need." They have a multitude of toys, right?
Right.
And then it's like it hit me like, wait. He's like, Dad, oh, you got a scratch in your car, and it correlated like, wait, oh shit, my car is a toy. It's just more expensive,
Uh-huh.
right? We're chasing things that are toys to us, and it does not give us happiness because half of us don't even know what the hell happiness means.
Mm-mm.
And then we talk about how we run shit, right?
Don't run nothing.
We say we run shit and we don't run anything,
Right.
right?
It runs us.
Exactly.
It's funny you say because this guy from New Orleans, Baptiste, got this song I call Freedom, right? It went big, It didn't make no sense to me, but it went big. And the other guy, what's the guy name? Kind of thing called Happy. What's his name?
You talking about Pharrell?
Pharrell.
Uh
And
huh.
I'm looking at all this stuff, I'm going like, But then nothing that has to do with purpose.
Because think about it. What are we chasing, right? A perfect example. Like I don't knock anybody that goes to school. Like schooling is good for you, but I know for a fact that the definition for education starts when you're outside of the school, right?
Right,
A lot of us don't even know, like when we graduate, based on the circumference of our hat and tassel, right?
right.
That's masonry. And when we sit within these gowns, we're celebrating and conjuring rituals. We're putting ourselves back in a box. Yes,
Okay.
it's that deep. right? So everything happens not out of coincidence.
Oh no.
Everything happens for a purpose.
Mm.
It's kind of like they use certain stories or folklore,
Terminologies and
yes,
storylines, right?
within the Bible, right?
Right.
But they won't tell you that the feminine energy, Isis, reflects Jesus,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they mask a lot of the feminine within this book. But the crazy shit about it is, right? We act as if bigger.
Hmm.
We're bigger in our patriarchal dominance. Like, yeah, I'm the man. I run shit. But everything we do for who? The
Okay.
feminine.
Hmm.
But we say we run shit and we alphas and we this that and the third. We're a replica of the feminine that gave birth to us.
And that's why a lot of times we miss our purpose and we strive to try to get to my pleasure. Look, this thing is so crazy, King. It's so crazy. That's why I want, because I'm looking at a lot of things now, even where I am in Louisiana, in Tallulah, We just went through all these elections and stuff, and all it's coming up. And everybody's barking. Now they're talking about abortion. Why are they making abortion and the Roe versus Wade a big issue now? Been on the books for years. What is the big issue now? What are
They're
they
not.
trying to do?
I'm sorry, they are not producing as much as we're producing. I think it's
That's right.
actually increased. There's 30 original woman to one original man now. So that's why, like I said it before, they like 50 dudes got together and traveled to Germany and said, yo, if we keep allowing these Negroes to have sex, they're gonna fuck us out of existence. Excuse my dialect.
Well, you're correct, because in 1984, I had a radio show in Dallas called The Spirit of Freedom, and my thing was radio talk show. I had Barry Shango, Dr. Barry Shango on there. I had the rabbi from one of the temples, Emmanuel, and I also had the Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan on my show. Okay, and the big thing was, what is the ideology and philosophy of the Klan? Why are y'all so hate driven, and why y'all do this and the other? And the Grand Wizard, the Grand Wizard said, we know assuredly that one day that the black man, he used the word, will rule again. And our biggest fear right now is called what's called anti-sexual dimorphism. In other words, the black man is the only person on the planet that can remove us out of society. In other words, can eradicate us with his penis. So they got some flaws here. They got a thing called a case of peninitis. You
Well,
know?
wait, well, wait. Do you realize that on the church is an obelisk? Do anybody
Yeah,
know what the obelisk is?
yeah,
The
right.
obelisk is the
Can
two
you erect the
ball,
penis? Yeah,
the two balls in the shaft.
yeah, right.
It's a penis.
Yeah.
That's why if you look at it, the Egyptians have they show the hole through the middle that signifies the feminine and the masculine, but they just have the penis.
Mm-hmm. That Washington Monument.
The penis.
Yeah.
So it's crazy that we're really not paying attention to how everything actually
Signs and the symbols of our.
is a distraction to take us out of our purpose. Like we get on our knees and we pray to someone else, right? That watches you kill your brother daily, and then you turn around and said that person loves you, forgetting if you need to bring forth a life within this world, you need the feminine. The Y and the X have to come together and become one to pretty much transform life in its own reflection, right?
And right, and that's what we're talking today. See, and this thing go right back to what? Pleasure or purpose. Pleasure or purpose.
Hey, we don't even know that there's three different ways to have sex. We don't even know that we're supposed to semen retent, and the more we retent our sacral fluid, the
Mm-hmm.
stronger and the more masculine we get. The
And
more. aware.
and intuitive we become. That's why
And
the monks all time they withhold from being involved in sexually. You know, Dr. Africa talked about that in one of his books about the more we ejaculate, the more much of our lives we lose. You know,
because we take it for granted. We don't know that
that's
we're
not that's
actually getting old. It takes 21 days to actually regain my actual energy. And
yeah,
the more you ejaculate, the older you get. That's your life force.
yeah.
It is precious.
And there's another thing that we attach to what pleasure. Man, I'm gonna give you 3 or 4 of these, and you go out there. And what are you doing?
Hey man. Hey man, let me show you how undisciplined or not on our purpose we are because we don't even know how not to ejaculate. We don't know how not to. And we run around and say, "Oh, I love you," and me having sex is me making love, right?
Yeah.
And not realizing that if you're either gonna procreate, which is a ritual,
Mm-hmm.
and doing so is the greatest way to manifest and bring things from different dimensions into this reality, and to not only make the feminine whole, and she makes you whole, she balances you out. Like,
Right.
as men, we take this shit for granted. Like, we don't even know that if the feminine is off balance by us, if we're connected, and you know what I'm saying, like we're doing everything correct by us entering her, we put her back in her balance, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
I
But
got you. I got
we have to be in tune, and we're not in tune. And
you.
we
No,
take a lot of shit for granted, and
and
we're
that's
so
the danger.
stressed out.
That's the danger, and that's why because we don't understand what's going on and how to differentiate between purpose and pleasure. We make these mistakes, these blunders, these mistakes in life that cause us more problem or more issues, and then wonder why what's going on. But I thought you loved me. That's not what this is all about.
How can somebody else love you and you don't love yourself, dog?
You don't know what
You,
love is. I told her you don't know what love is. You can't the 6 different degrees of love according to what they Greek definitions. You don't know what it even is.
and it
You
all
don't even
needs to sacrifice.
it all means a sacrifice, one way or another. You know. And but you know what? I'm glad we had a chance to come on and talk about this. I mean, there's so much going on in the world that we need to address. We're not addressing, especially as we as indigenous people in this diaspora, because the world is looking at us now. They're really taking a good look at us now because as I was reading the other day, and you can actually pull this up. You were saying it, but it's an actual historical fact. From 2010 to 2020, there's been a major decline in the Caucasian, or what you want to call it, race, and they got a new word now. They call that you will not replace us. You hear the word? You will not replace us because they're scared they're going to be replaced. Well, they went from 75% to 53.3% according to the 2020 census. 2010, 2020.
But they always, like, no pun intended to them. It's not personal for me,
No, it's
but
just nature.
they're always been at a zero minus rate
Yeah.
within the planet. There's a difference between having a spirit and having a soul. And we have
And
a
you said a
soul.
mouthful. You said a mouthful
And
then
we have a soul. That's why we vibrate higher.
on a different
That's why
frequency.
that's why we do so much things and it looks easy. See, what they won't tell you is that they whitewash everything, right?
Hmm.
Like, it's crazy as hell. Like, I'm learning that the Mona Lisa, who created that? Who created
Yeah.
that? Who created it, Baba?
The Mona Lisa wasn't that Leonardo da Vinci?
Exactly. How many people know that Leonardo da Vinci was actually depicting himself in the Mona Lisa?
Yeah, I told people that all of
That's
that in the Last Supper too. He got the
that's him.
feminine. Yeah,
That's him,
yeah, yeah.
right? And it's like, I'm learning so much, man. I'm learning so much, man. Like, they're even
You're gonna
going back,
you're
like,
gonna, you're gonna help a download, huh, man?
dude,
You're gonna help a download, basically, man.
dude, dude. Like, I just found out that Abraham Lincoln was actually the true Abraham Lincoln was actually born in Barbados, and he's Aboriginal.
Okay.
But if you let them tell these his stories,
Mm-hmm.
everybody is pale,
Not
right?
true.
But when
Mm-hmm.
you go back and you study it, everybody is a Aboriginal, and the true people that's actually running the shit is the ones that looks like us, but
Mm.
they're not really us.
Wow. Yeah, I was looking at but at Joe one of J. A. Rogers' book, the five Negro presidents of the day, and I was laughing because he got eight red in the back, red in the pack.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
You you know what I'm
Boy,
saying? But let's stay on top because we can switch so quick. But like,
yeah, right. But yeah, but like to go back, but and we're talking about our young brothers out here now. I had a chance to run across one of Sinetta's little brother rapping, talking one day, and it made a lot of sense. He talking about the power of words in your mouth that you spit and you speak out there. But at the same time, those words are manifest. But so I'm saying now, so when we go out and talking, we have in our conversation, is it built more along pleasure line or purpose driven? And that's why I wanted Ivan on tonight because we've been talking about this, and then, I mean, he's in Texas, I'm in Louisiana, and I'm looking at the young people around here, and we make comparison. Now that school's getting out, people are moving around and mixing up and going on, and then I'm looking at all of this homosexuality coming out now. I mean, it's all on TV, and I'm seeing all these black men and white men hooking up. Like,
but
what the hell?
but why? You know why, right? You know why? It goes back to what I said earlier. If
Yep.
you allow them
Mm-hmm.
to continuously have sex, they will screw us out of existence. So it's a survival and an embarrassment
Mm-hmm.
within the same breath, right?
Wow.
I'm
Wow.
gonna make you feel like you're a slave. I'm gonna make you feel like you come on ships. I'm gonna lie to you. I'm gonna miseducate you. I don't want to make you a free thinker,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm gonna poison your food. I'm gonna chastise and kill your men because with them you need them to procreate,
That's right.
right? I'm gonna stress them out. The more stressed
Oh
they become,
man,
the
wow.
more the
And
more
why do we have stress? Why? We're seeking either please somebody with this or it's pleasure driven. I gotta have this guy. You gotta have all these things.
Hey Baba, entertain them until I come back. Go ahead.
All right. And it's sad that we've allowed ourselves to get to this point in life, whereas we cannot differentiate between pleasure driven or purpose driven. That's why we're talking now. As I grow older, I'm learning the most important thing is on fulfilling your purpose and your destiny. Well, how can I do it if I don't know what? Then it's time to start researching and trying to find out why, who am I and why am I here? And what am I just here to be here or do I have a purpose in being here? And everything in this arena, in this realm, has a purpose in being here. Even the mosquito has a purpose. And he's almost it's pleasure driven, but he has a purpose. And we need to know what our purpose is in order to bring balance back because right now we're very unbalanced. We're running almost as Ron Nepper said in Metal Nature, we're here at a collision course with disaster. I mean, running head on to a collision course with disaster.
So I gotta if you can give somebody, and it's crazy because you cannot give somebody
No,
steps on how to follow their purpose. They just got to go within themselves.
you have to go to meditate within yourself and seek within because your steps I use may not work for you. You know.
You gotta cord cut. You gotta meditate. You gotta flush your system. You gotta increase your vibration. You gotta
All
stop
of that.
listening to
All of
people
that.
telling you you're not
But you,
perfect. Like, what's crazy to me? They state I'm not perfect, right?
mm-hmm.
But through studies, they still can't tell me how my brain works.
Ah!
But I'm not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't understand that. And we believe these people. It's like Dean Calloway states.
Oh man,
How are you
man,
gonna listen to a stranger telling you who you are?
and they don't know
Right?
who they are.
You're
They
gonna
don't
listen
know,
to a
and they don't know who they
stranger.
are. Right.
Exactly. Exactly. And now so you're telling me the sun is hateful when certain people catch dermatitis and cancer of the skin and the radiation cook them,
Mm-hmm.
and you're doing certain shit to yourself and it's cooking you because you're breaking down your
Mm-hmm.
carbon and your melanin.
Right.
You're stifling your pineal gland, you're crystallizing it, you know what I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you're fucking it up. Excuse my language. Excuse my language, elder. With things like I'm studying my youngest child, and
Okay.
one of the craziest things is he would rather me punish him with exercise versus me tell him to sit still and meditate.
Mm.
And
Wow.
I know I gotta keep programming him to master himself gradually,
Right.
right? But what I realize is sitting still is problematic. And I went through this as well
Mm-hmm.
because my brain is firing off so much. I'm like, and
Right.
there's so much noise, and I'm pulling everybody else's thought, like oh shit, my mom likes pineapple, so I love pineapple now. No, how the hell do I know I love pineapple? I just saw my mom. You know what I'm saying? It may be
Mhm.
her favorite fruit,
Right.
right? These conditions are not mine.
Wow.
Where did these conditions come from? And why am
Good
I
question.
reflecting these conditions towards someone else? Like I'm aiming to control a grown ass adult
Mm.
and tell this adult what they should do or how they should get their shit in order and give the most impeccable advice. But my shit's not in order and I can't take advice from myself.
Wow. And that's good analyzation there, man. That's a good that's a good analysis when you can be able to analyze your own self and say, no, wait a minute, why am I doing for somebody what I need to be doing for myself?
Accountability is freedom, King.
All right. All right.
Accountability is freedom. Once you're accountable, what you do, you're not afraid to step on your own ideologies
Right.
and know that they're not working and
Right.
they're not beneficial to you. Like even when I'm in fear, I can be vulnerable. Like I'm I'm going to work and a blue light might pop up. It may not be for me, but the hollowness and the tightness of my stomach based on the
That
killing
light,
the
that
killings of
light,
what I've seen,
that blue light is designed to extract
right?
stress and fear.
Right. So and I'm like, I know what it feels like to be in fear. So here what I go back and do now. Why am I feeling like this? And why does this feeling feels as if it's
That's
killing me?
conditioning.
It's
That is
killing me.
conditioning.
But
That is
look how
conditioning.
I remove it. Look how I remove it.
Mm.
The way I'm feeling is killing me. And my objective is not to die. So
Mm.
I this is not of me. And this is not what I want to feel. Your avatar or whatever you call your ego don't
Mm.
want to die.
Mm.
So once you speak to these things, it changes you. So now guess what? Every morning before I leave the crib, I manifest. Yo, I am invisible to these dudes. You know how many years I've driven around and don't even see one, even if I'm speeding past one?
Mm.
Pay it no mind.
Mm.
You
Remove
know
the
what I'm saying?
stress.
You're not superior to me. So why am I fearing you?
Wow.
And why is this a thing to trigger me?
Wow. Something to think about. Something to not think about, but to work on. I don't want to think about it. Something to work on.
We have control, but we don't
Exercise. We don't use it. We don't put it in motion. We have the power to do these things. We just don't use it because we feel. I'm so tired of folks saying, "Well, I don't want to intimidate nobody," but you don't mind being intimidated.
Hey man, listen. I'm 6'4". I'm 220. I'm I'm carbon based, and
Mhm.
I have an electro field around me that is so powerful.
I know that's right.
I cannot aim not to intimidate you, and I
Hmm.
have locks.
Hmm. Right.
I am gonna intimidate. So what? Who gives a shit? My purpose is not you. I'm
Right.
here to connect, and not only connect, is to amplify those that require amplification from me. That
Okay.
means I multiply your purpose. Whatever you do, I multiply that. That
Hmm.
is my purpose. That's why I speak the way I speak and maneuver the way I maneuver, because I know the Oris and the gods that's within me, Abatalai and Oshun, masculine
Hmm.
and feminine.
Hmm.
Who are they? My universal number is a 9. That's
Okay.
that's the number of the universe. It's
Okay.
within your head. It's on your fingerprint, right?
Hmm.
So how can you not be a god? How can you give that power to somebody else? How can you
Only,
walk to the store?
only, only when you don't know who you are.
How can you walk to the store, provide whatever poison you call food for your children, then turn around and pray to someone else that's not beneficial to you? You just did the work. How can you forget you?
They do it all the time.
Pray to you.
Do it all the time.
The true prayer is manifestation. Do
Mm.
that for you, and there's nothing you can't accomplish.
Wow. Wow.
The greatest value in this life is not even the promissory note that they tell us that we can change out. The greatest value within this life is connection.
Hmm.
If 100 of us is in a room and we're all balanced, we can f some shit up on a
Hmm.
spiritual level.
Right.
So
That's the thing.
yeah, yo man, I'm getting hyped. Some of y'all don't even know y'all telepaths. Some of y'all are running from your powers. Some of y'all don't even know that. You be like, hey man, I see Baba in a minute, and then all of a sudden Baba just appears
Pop
out
up.
of nowhere because you're on the same frequency.
Uh,
And I think that shit is coincidental. You be like, yo, I ain't talked to such and such, and boom, there he
that
is.
is.
You
Yeah.
just manifested him.
Yeah, man.
You feel like shit, change your frequency. Your frequency is like a radio dial.
That's now you got that power within you. You can do that.
Change your frequency. Only you
Change it.
control you.
Change
Going around like, yo, Baba, yo, man, he's trying to bring me down. No,
it.
you're
Oh man.
bringing yourself down. Every time you open your mouth, you're creating your reality.
Yeah. Yeah. I say, man. I say.
Stop trying and do.
That's the crutch. I'm trying. I'm trying.
Use will. I am willing. I'm
Yeah.
willing to accomplish that. I'm willing to walk to the store. Stop saying why, yo, why am I so fucked up? No, say why am I so powerful?
Yeah. You gotta change your vocabulary. That's one thing we gotta work with too is changing our the power of the mouth, our vocabulary. That says a lot too, man.
People tell you,
Look,
yo, you're a minority. What the hell is a
shit.
minority?
Yeah, what is it? And
You're
and where did the word come from? Where did that word come from?
you're a
Because that's what the
child.
word, all of a sudden that's the word they started using. I mean, where did that come from?
You're a child.
Yeah, look,
Get a law dictionary. Get a law dictionary, and then you can speak their language. Then you understand their language better and why they
right.
use
I tell
certain
everybody
words.
that. Yeah, man.
Why they use certain words.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like go in it. Use the rules they apply by. Then
right.
then get one of these, right?
Yeah,
Get one of
yeah.
these, and then you start to realize that you be like, oh man, I'm black, and then you look in this and it says black mean bleak, pale, or bleach.
You're right.
So how am I black?
Yeah, I told a guy the other day that I said, man, y'all these word definitions.
You know what I mean? Get the etymology dictionary. Get an
Right.
old Spanish dictionary.
Oh, get the
Trans,
oldest one you can get.
translate it to English, all of
Yeah.
this stuff, and
Yeah.
you start to see the games that these people play. There's not even real laws, bro. There's statutes and codes.
That's it.
We don't even know that maritime means that everything is on water.
On the water. That's what it is.
You're driving a car, the car is on water. It's maritime law. They're taxing you for stuff that
Yeah.
they should be taxing you for on water.
Wow.
Currency.
Yeah.
Really?
Right. Yeah.
Hey man, I'm gonna end it like this. I'm gonna give you the first go around, Baba. Like,
Well,
um,
I'm just glad we come on and prime the pump again. You ready to start doing some things, bring the word back out, post these things up. Now that I'm focused now, I'm working on now on strictly working on spiritual growth and elevation. And I wanted to come on and talk about it because I was moved by the topic when I was talking to Baba Ogun Bami, and it really lit me up because he said, well, Baba, are we purpose driven or pleasure driven? And I was thinking about a lot of things with us. You know what? We need to talk about that. And I want to say Modu pay to you, King, for bringing us on mental Rolodeck to put it out there. I know we went a lot of places, but this is how it works. Sometimes you start with one thing and you cover a lot of other bases. But I'm pretty sure everything we have been food for thought for those that tune in that will catch this broadcast of this podcast.
it's all about purpose, and the drifting comes back to purpose
Right,
because it correlates,
right,
right?
right.
And um, I'm working on being a motivational speaker, but
Okay.
seriously, like I feel like that's a gift that I need to pursue, but I don't want to do it like how everybody else does it.
Right.
You got to talk to me to get what you need to get my energy from
Yeah.
me. And for me, and I'm still defining myself daily,
Right. Okay.
right?
Right.
Um, to transmute within your purpose
Mm-hmm.
is to identify what you do best, what comes easy to you,
Right. Okay.
right?
Okay.
What
Right.
comes easy to you
Mm-hmm.
is your purpose. It's what you should be doing, whether it's taking the trash out, whether it's a janitor mopping the floor, he does it with style and vigor.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's communicating, whether it's writing, whether it's reading, whether it's touching people, and so on and so forth. You have to identify what that is. You know, you can someone actually wants to come on. You can come on.
Get on the
You
get
can come
on
on.
right now. Okay.
You can come on. Is this I don't know if it's Shanae, but let's see if it's Shanae. We can let her in here.
Yeah. Let's
Um,
come in here.
I'm just
Let's
gonna
see.
see. So hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Rich. Oh
Rich. Oh shucks.
nah. You can come on. I'm gonna send it. I'm gonna send you the link, King. I'm
Yeah.
gonna send you the link.
Yeah. Hook him in there
You
right quick.
know, you know, you know, if you don't
Awesome
have,
topic. All right.
if you don't have Rich, it ain't gonna be nice. Yo, hold on.
Yeah. I was just thinking about Rich while ago. I said, man, let's bring him on board, man.
Let me see if I can
Wow.
send him. I can send him the link, man.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll hang in there for Rich.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's what comes easy to you, but you have to identify what that is. You got to shut off the noises. Like stop
Yeah. Right.
allowing others that lacks purpose to tell you or define who you are. I hear y'all saying that, oh, I'm not perfect and blah, blah, blah. You're still a sight to behold. They still don't understand the
Man,
functionality of your circumference. You don't understand
I
the
overstand none of
functionality of your circumference. You don't even study your anatomy.
that. Mhm. Study you.
That basically,
Yeah. Yeah. Get to know you. Yeah.
like there's a research indicating like, yo, a drop of blood it, is so long it can be wrapped around the world.
Yeah. Wow.
Just a drop.
Yeah.
So how they gonna tell you imperfect? You get a cut, you heal,
Yeah.
but you're not perfect. Man, you did one of y'all tell me that shit.
Did you get Rich the link? Is he coming on?
Yeah, I send them the link.
Man, I'm waiting to hear. I'm waiting to hear it, man. Cause I love this brother, man.
You know he's a celebrity. He don't, like he
Yeah,
comes
yeah, I
out.
know. Yeah, you
Yeah,
in
he
the
comes out.
spotlight big
Yeah,
time now.
yeah, he comes out like once in a blue, dog. Like, you know
Yeah,
what I mean? So you got when you get him, you got him. You know what I mean?
yeah, right.
When you, when you get him, you got him, man.
Yeah,
I love my brother, man.
hey, man. Yeah, most definitely. I mentioned a while ago, about the programming and all this. Yeah, man, definitely.
Hey,
Want the
Rich, I send you the link, King. Come on in. Yeah,
yeah,
but
with
we gotta identify and we gotta stop listening to people.
yeah. Well, if it's not a bit, if it's not an asset or then it's a liability. But yeah, but I want to get his take on this thing. Pleasure or purpose, pleasure driven or purpose driven.
And it's
Yeah,
crazy, right?
yeah,
We go after the pleasure, and the pleasure amplifies, bringing more pleasure. But when we get the pleasure, we're not satisfied. We
not
want more
satisfied.
pleasure,
You gotta have more pleasure.
right? But yet,
Yeah,
when I get wrinkly and die because once a man, twice a child,
yeah.
none of those pleasures comes with me.
Mm-mm, no.
I go back to Mom Duke's butt ass naked, the way I came. Even the clothes y'all bury me in rots away. That's how
Mm,
powerful she is.
mm, yeah. Did you get him?
I send it to him. Just
Yeah,
waiting for him. You know, there he go. That
yeah, man.
what's up? What's up?
There he is,
What's up, superstar?
What? Uh,
man. There he
I was
is,
just.
man.
I don't know if you guys can hear me or not.
We can hear
I
you
hear
very
you.
clearly.
I'm traveling right now, so I can't show my face.
Okay, that's okay. We got you. Come on.
See you on IG showing your six pack, man. I hear looking like you on OnlyFans.
Look, I stumbled into this room. I was trying to go to the liquor store.
Wow. Yeah,
Love and
And
prosperity, Elder. How you doing
yeah,
so
today?
man.
the oh man, it's good to see you guys. Did
Man,
you say
yeah, man.
Shanae was on?
Oh, I thought it was her because she was texting earlier, so I thought it was her within the comments, and then I had to look on it because I don't know why y'all pictures are not popping up. It's just showing Facebook user basically. I don't know why is that happening.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, it's been a minute. It's been a
Yeah, man.
minute, man.
So we got a question for you, Bobby. You want to ask him?
Uh-uh.
Yeah, well, I know he's the man. We were discussing pleasure driven or purpose driven. We as indigenous people, are we more pleasure driven or purpose driven? And why we're having all these problems. So, and I was thinking about some things you were saying before in your book, and it came up at a discussion with another Bible the other day, and we was talking about the time we're in now. Everybody seems to be more.
Right,
Uh, they just they flipping out. They're talking about mental illness.
right.
I said, shit. So you got it, man. I'm waiting to
Yeah.
hear your spiel on it.
Well, that pleasure thing is like we are conditioned by it, whether we like it or not. We conditioned by that pleasure. The pleasure is there. But in my book, I go deep.
Mm-hmm.
I go beyond the surface with it into asking the question, what is pleasure? What
Mm-hmm.
is it? How does it form? How does it flower, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is it? How does it come? But and then I found out that it's a difference between pleasure and joy.
Mm.
I could seek I could seek pleasure, but I can't seek joy.
Okay.
Joy is like a deep spiritual thing. I mean, beyond religion, really is. But pleasure, I could seek pleasure. It's like happiness is related to pleasure, but I can be a happy criminal, right?
I've
I
been
could be
robbing
happy.
folks, huh?
I could be happy. I robbed the liquor store.
Yeah.
But
Golly.
joy is something that pleasure. I put it this way: I've seen that wherever there is pleasure, there is conditioning, and in that conditioning, there is hurt.
Mm.
It's that deep. I can tell y'all that because I know y'all deep. It's where there's pleasure, there is conditioning and hurt.
Mm,
You can't see it unless you really go beyond the surface with it,
mm,
you know. But I go into it in the book. But where there's pleasure, there is hurt
I
because
don't
I'm
think they
hurt.
want you. I don't think they want you to talk, but
you get a
I,
lot of static.
yeah, it sound like you're on the water. I don't think they want you to speak.
He's traveling anyway. Yeah, but
But they got you as
Yeah,
a black manager. There you go. You sound better.
is that a little better?
Yeah, a lot better.
I'm saying where there's pleasure, there's hurt. It's a deep thing, and it's conditioning.
uh,
Where you can be can, a pleasure seeker is conditioned to be a pleasure seeker. I'm
mm,
I'm seeking pleasure because I'm hurt, hurt, and while I'm receiving pleasure, I'm in the fear that pleasure might stop.
mm,
Whatever the pleasure is. So
mm,
where there's pleasure, there's fear. Where there's pleasure, there's fear that it might stop
mm.
sooner than you want it to.
So let me ask you this: do you think, upon seeking that pleasure, and given the fact that there's conditioning and hurt and pain within the seeking of that pleasuring, am I transferring that pleasuring onto the other person?
No, it's for me. The pleasure is for me. I can say the pleasure's for you too, long as I get mine.
No, but what I'm saying, what I'm saying is, given the fact that your pleasure is based on condition and pain and hurt, right? Even though it's for you, given the functionality of our bodies, and we're vibrational beings, are you transferring that to the next vibrational being?
Only if they're unaware.
Okay, got
Only
you.
that's why they condition us with pleasure, the
Mm,
with pleasure and fear, the reward and punishment
mm,
of pleasure and fear. That's why it's conditioning. It conditions us. The reward to where I work a job I hate for the pleasure of the money.
mm,
It's not good for me, but I'm conditioned for reward. Even if it's bad for me, it's going to give me a false sense of power, a false sense of reward. But
mm.
it's taking me in deeper and deeper. It's taking me in so deep, it's going to come to a point where I don't know how to leave it. So I go to a religion.
Now I'm addicted to.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And then the attachment and the pain and
Oh
it,
yeah.
How
and
do you
all the rest of
alleviate?
it.
How do you alleviate all of that so you can be back on your purpose?
Well, that's that's the good thing about this platform you guys is doing. This is
Mm.
why you can't. What y'all doing is you can't do it enough because a person has to see the poison to stop it.
Mm-hmm.
Some people got to see the poison. You know, I mean, it's like if you're drinking. If you guys was over to the house and we just played a basketball game, and y'all was drinking something, and I say, don't drink that. That's the poison one. You'll drop it immediately, no matter how refreshing it is.
Yeah.
They gotta see the danger in it.
Right. Right.
But pleasure can get so pleasurable, you won't see the danger.
Wow. That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, you guys ever trapped a bird? You ever try to catch a
I
bird
am.
with
Yeah.
birds? And you
Yeah.
notice how it's hard to trap a bird because it's always so aware, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you start putting seeds down,
Oh yeah. Walking right into the trap. Walking right into the trap. Same thing with a rabbit. Walking right into the trap.
yeah. So I mean, this pleasure thing it exists, right? But is it a good thing? You know, it's related to please, meaning it's makes you dependent.
Wow.
It it's please, please, can I have it? Pleasure. I need the pleasure. Look at why. Why do you need the pleasure? If I need it, something's got to be unfulfilled if I need it.
Right. Definitely. Yeah, definitely. That's got to be a void there somewhere.
So it's the coke within the pipe and the white on the plate that's cut up that gets sniffed. So I'm
Yeah,
addicted.
Wow.
I mean that's why I say hurt's got to be there somewhere. Wherever's pleasure, wherever pleasure is, hurt is around.
All right.
But
Purpose
it's a
though,
real deep thing.
but purpose, Rich. After you recognize all those hurt and all these pleasures and stuff, like now you want to be on your purpose. Now the coke don't have the same effect. You know what I mean? I know what it's like to sniff it. It don't have the same effect no more. It doesn't have control. Like, how do I look at the sun the way you look at the sun? Given the fact that I don't have your eyes, and you found your purpose based on that when you stored at the sun.
But that's deep. But see, but once you run into how, it's not you looking at it. You see that the how you should never ask how because that leads to another how. So you have to look at it not according to any hows. It's like if you take away everything out of the room you're in, what is it? It's the
Still a room.
room itself.
Mm-hmm.
It's the room. But if I'm looking at something according to what the professor told me, that's not me looking at it.
Mm-mm. Wow.
If I'm
Okay.
looking at it according to, because you know, Baba is different for a reason. Jaden is different. We all different for a reason.
True that.
It don't. Nobody's better. It's just different.
Just different.
But we get caught up in who's better. I see. That's the thing I don't like.
Wow.
We can all learn from each other. I can learn from Baba because Baba's been some places I ain't never been. I can learn from
Vice versa.
Jaden
Yeah.
because Jaden, you've been places I never been. If somebody been somewhere you ain't never been, you can learn from them.
True that.
So
I,
what is this smarter stuff about?
I think that better and smarter shit is an insult to me anyway, because you're putting limits. You're
Mm-hmm.
putting limits on me, and we're limitless. Because you can't say the sky is the ceiling when there's a universe.
I mean, where is are you and Baba in the same city?
Nah,
Not by a long shot.
nah. You're 7 hours away from me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. He's in Louisiana, right?
Right.
Absolutely.
See, I never been to Louisiana, so if I'm smarter than Baba, then I can go to Baba's hometown and show him around. But I can't do that.
Yeah.
I need you to show me around
Right. Right.
because I've never been there.
Right. You don't know where to go,
So
where not to go, right?
no, man, I'll be somewhere. I get lost and I'll be like, Baba, come get me. You be like, where you at? Oh, I ain't going down there.
How'd you wind up over there? Yeah. Well, man, Rich, it's so good to see you, man. I've been out on this battlefield. Like I've just come in unplugged. I was telling Jamal, I'm back, getting back to work now. I've been playing with this political thing, and
Oh yeah, yeah. You still running for office, right?
now, man, that's all over with. And I told the Negroes I'm done, but I'm
What
done.
happened?
But
What
man,
happened?
our folks just they stuck in, I don't know what you want to call it. We're 80.1% of the population and don't run shit in the town.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah.
you still muted. You still muted.
We gotta go back and read the information though. We're not united yet, so we don't understand when I told you they gave us all our shit back, but we can't claim it if we're separated.
Man, I'm telling you, I just can't believe it. All the Out of 6,000 folks, only 1,800 folks showed up and voted in the election.
But but
And
isn't it only a corporation can have an election, right?
yeah, I'm trying to tell you now. But see, in order to change some things, you got to get around that table. If you can get around the table, it ain't shit gonna change. And that's what we're trying to deal with. You talk about change, but you don't want to get in there and go in there and do the work, you know. But look, I got to jump off of here, get in here, and got to make a run.
Most
And
definitely.
yeah, but look, it's been a pleasure, double measure. We got to do this again, brother.
Wait. Don't no
How
no
long y'all
no.
been on?
Almost caught
About an
you.
hour.
Yeah, almost caught you. Caught you. It's been a what? I'm on your ass.
I know what,
Been
man,
a
and I
what?
should know. You know, I've been talking about because I ain't supposed to live like that, man. No, I ain't supposed to live like that.
Yeah, it's kind of like we're so addicted to sugar. Like, hey, honey bun, hey, sweetheart. And you're like, yeah, it's been a pleasure, right? Yeah, okay, okay.
All right.
I want to say gratitude to you, gentlemen, for
Yeah,
actually
gratitude, brother.
participating. Hey, Rich, we still got a show. You keep running away from me. Um, if you'd like to participate and be a part of the show, MEN-talRollADeK, so on and so forth. Follow me. Reach out to Jaden Moss and let's get it done. All right. Um, Listen to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, so on and so forth. And with that, I say good night and be loved and elevate and prosperous and so on and so forth. And realize that you're perfect. Don't let nobody tell you otherwise. All right. Peace.